grateful to be able to come together. Yeah. All for the purpose of more peace, more love, more joy. Yes, yes, yes. It's good. Good. All right. So let's get started here. I'm going to start with a prayer and invite you to place your hands upon your heart. Taking that breath of love and gratitude together, we are grateful, we are thankful for the power of love within us. We are grateful to come together on this full moon day for the purpose of releasing that which no longer serves our life of love. We are grateful to come to harvest the wisdom that is encoded into all of our experiences, into everything we offer, everything we do. So grateful to allow ourselves to truly rise up above the battlefield and to live a life of love. What I know for myself and for Ted is that what we share is dynamic, it's powerful, it's straight from the mind of God. We are grateful to be that two or more gathered and in the name and the nature of love to bring forth a healing dynamic that inspires us all, that lifts us all, that heals us all. So grateful for this opportunity that we are giving ourselves to gather in this way. We share the benefits with everyone everywhere because we are eternally one with them. In gratitude, we let it be, and so it is. Amen. 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 Yes, so grateful that you are here. I always like to know where people are joining us from. So I'm in New England on the coast of Massachusetts, and it's a cold, wintry day here. Ted is down in Florida, and it's cold, wintry day there too. Yeah, went down below freezing last night. So saying a prayer for the citrus growers and all those delicate plants and trees. So I am going to turn it over to Ted to share a song with us. And I'd like to introduce Ted, my dear friend. We have been yoga buddies for a number of years. We practice yoga in the morning on Zoom, and we've been a little bit sporadic lately, but I think we're going to get back into our routine. I was in Puerto Rico and I kind of got stuck there for a couple of extra days, which would have been nice, but I really did want to get home. And so I'm glad to be back here at home. And if you've been coming to Sundays with Spirit, you know Ted. You love Ted, I'm sure. He is one of the co-facilitators of our monthly grief group, which I'll ask him to share with you about, and also the men's group. So these are two very important aspects of our ministry that he's involved in. And he's been in Masterful Living classes for a number of years as well. He is a profoundly talented singer and songwriter, and his songs are focused on messages of love, messages from the teachings of A Course in Miracles. And he has written hundreds of songs, and he's been writing new songs and sharing them with us too. So thank you for joining with us today, Ted.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's my honor. You know, even though I write the songs, I'm not pursuing any kind of music career. It's not my favorite kind of business. So this is my opportunity to share some of the songs that I've written over the last 45 years. So, um, and we had a lot of down here in Florida. It's cold. We're only down here for a few weeks, but it was below freezing, and branches were falling, and we were lucky we didn't lose power or the water didn't freeze. That's a big thing down here. So uh, it brought to mind this song. This is an oldie, but the Course tells us if we don't forgive, um, we're attacking. And I'm just going to sing it. Turn it up just a little bit. One windy day I lay to rest at night. I beckoned sleep to take its place. My mind filled with old grievances, and my sleep became their prey. And though I thought it would pass, their savage chant replayed. Tossed and turned and picked up my pen. Words came out this way. Unforgiveness brews a hurricane. Strong winds can uproot one's will. Strength possessed in the light is now weakened by its chill. Cry out to your higher self. Please show me the way. Got distracted. Or risk your lives to the wind. I paced the floor until the morning sun gave birth to another day. Though grievances they begin to run, the morning light melts them away. Cry out to your higher self, show me the way. Or risk your life to the wind like a leaf in a hurricane. Oh, thanks.
Very appropriate here, especially because it's also a windy day here. Cold and windy. That was great, Ted. Thank you. Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. So, yeah, I do appreciate it when people turn on their cameras. So I'm not talking with just Ted. So thank you, Alexi and Shanice. Anybody else like to turn on their camera? I appreciate it. I know Ted would too, probably. And thank you for sharing in the chat where you're joining us from. And, you know, it's very windy in a lot of places. People have been talking to me about that. And one of the things I learned from my teacher, Venerable Dahani Oahu, who is a Cherokee chief, Native American, and a Buddhist. And she taught me that indigenous people attribute the wind to people's anger. When the wind rises, it's evidence of anger rising. And certainly we can make that connection right now in the United States. A lot of people are very angry and upset. about things that are occurring in our country and in the world. And I don't share the anger, I don't, but I share the concern. Also, today being a full moon, a time of releasing and a time of harvesting the wisdom from our experiences, from our choices. So the moon goes full around 5 o'clock Eastern. And I always like to take the full moon, new moon opportunities to pause and reflect and to look at what needs to be released. What would I like to release? What am I willing to release? And thinking quite a bit about things that are occurring in this world that have people so upset. And I'd like to share something that I wrote on Facebook. I'm not a Facebook person. I was for a while, many years ago, but my orchids have these little flies, these little fruit fly type flies that are attracted to the orchids. There always seems to be one flying around. Yeah, I'm not big on Facebook these days. I just don't think of going there actually. But I I was very moved by what I felt was Alex Peretti's act of heroism in trying to help those women who were being attacked by the uh, men in ICE. And, there's in any government, there are policies we don't agree with. I think that's true for everybody. And there are situations and circumstances in the world and government that we find difficult and challenging. And still, I'm not interested in fomenting hatred. I'm really not. And I don't need to attack the attackers or judge the judgers or complain about the complainers. I've worked really hard not to do that. But I noticed there was some disinformation going around, and I just wanted to post something that felt kind and appreciative because I felt that what Alex Preddy did was heroic and took a lot of courage to try and help get those women out of the way of the being pepper sprayed. As I watched the videos many times, it seemed that they were peaceful demonstrators, and many men feel very protective of women and children. And those that are being challenged, I think that's one of the wonderful qualities of many men is that move to protect and defend innocence, and those who are smaller or weaker than they are. I really admire that. And I think it takes a lot of courage, and that's what I was seeing. And there have been so many things that were said that were untrue about him. So I just posted his picture, and I said something like, "Angels are among us, and heroes are real," and it brought forth a lot of different kinds of responses. And somebody was saying that he brought an automatic weapon that he was threatening the ICE agents with, which was not true. And there's so many videos, it's easy to see it wasn't true. And so I thought, I'm just going to say something about that. And so I did, and then it inspired some other things. And so I'm not going to really talk about the whole ICE thing more than that. But I did say this. I said, I've never killed anyone, but I used to feel a murderous rage at times. It was terrifying. And I've focused for decades on healing my heart and mind to rid myself of that hatred. It took focused attention, but I did it. And ultimately, the thing I realized was that all of it was self-hatred projected onto the world. We can help each other heal our hearts and minds. I feel like that's everyone's true purpose. It's what I've dedicated my life to. The people who work on the ground in ICE are like kindling to a fire that the administration is pouring gasoline on and lighting a match. Kindling burns in a fire. It doesn't really have a choice. People are manipulating the vulnerable men in ICE to carry out their bidding while they watch from a distance. There's a much bigger picture here, and we can all decide for ourselves what kind of world we support. We can hate ourselves and project it onto the world, or love ourselves and be truly helpful from a place of kindness and compassion. We each start with our own self-talk. The hateful self-talk is the most dangerous weapon of all. Hateful self-talk is the same as hateful talk at your neighbor. This is why Jesus teaches us to love our neighbors as ourselves. There's no other way. Love is the way, the truth, and the life. Love is what we are. And I know some people don't like it when I speak out about situations in the world, and I understand that. I respect that, but I don't feel called to not comment from time to time, because being a leader, I feel it's important to lead, and to do that by just putting out a perspective. And I've shifted so much over the years, so much over the years. 25 years ago, I would get angry at things. But then what happened was I was going to peace demonstrations every week for months. And I realized a lot of these peace demonstrators are not peaceful. They're angry, which I understand. And still, I think that's why they're so interested in peace, is because they don't have peace. They feel angry. They feel hurt. They feel upset. And they're going to peace demonstrations because they'd like to see more peace in the world, and they don't know how to get it, and they're feeling frustrated. And that was an eye-opener for me. Is I went to peace demonstrations expecting the demonstrators to be 100% peaceful, and that wasn't the case. But it's rare to find anybody in this world that's 100% peaceful. I don't claim to be. So we're all having a human experience, and to me, we need so much to help each other. And the time that we need to help each other the most is when they're down, when other people are down. That's when they need the help the most. And in a lot of ways, we go through cycles in our human experience where people have a tendency to kick other people when they're down. You don't have a right to go down. You don't have a right to be wrong. You don't have a right to be upset. You don't have a right to make mistakes. I need you to, I don't know, be different all the time. And if you're not going to be the way I want you to be, then I'm going to be mad at you and try to shame you or make you feel guilty for not being the way I wish you were. I see so much of that in television programs. Sometimes I'll start watching something on television, a movie or a TV series or something, and I get a little way into it, and people are so judgmental, so uh, relentlessly condemning of their family, their friends, judging and complaining about them that I can't watch. I can't watch. And maybe I can't watch it because I'm judging it, but I just feel like there's enough of that in the world. I'd rather see something else. I don't mind if the characters are looking to rise above it. They're trying to find a way through it. They're trying to move in another direction, and they're struggling and challenging, looking to find the courage within themselves. Then that becomes an interesting dynamic to me that I'm very much interested in. I love stories of redemption where it's like a movie or a TV that series that is basically could be some version of Amazing Grace, the song. Once was lost, but now I'm found. And to be so amazed that grace finds someone like me who feels like a wretch, you know, according to those lyrics. And because I feel like that's my story. Amazing Grace is my story. I once was lost and I felt like a wretch. And I do feel absolutely saved by God's infinite grace. And how I tapped into God's infinite grace was that I committed to being loving. And being loving restored me, renewed me, revitalized me, brought me back into my right mind. So there's a tendency to hate the hater, to judge the judger, to complain about the complainer. And I think as Course in Miracles students, it's really important and valuable for us to be that living demonstration of having compassion, leading the way in compassion. And a lot of the time, it does mean speaking up in a group. I can remember when I was in my 20s, and I wasn't the happiest person then. I wasn't the most loving person then, but I was definitely raised by my parents to confront prejudice when I saw it. And so I can remember being in my 20s and being in an office with all men, and which was wonderful because I like men. I love men. But there would be times, and it could have been women too. It's certainly not exclusive to men. It just happened to be that I was in an all male environment. And sometimes they would be telling jokes that today would be considered not politically correct. So this was before that took hold. And so they would be telling jokes that were racist and sexist and xenophobic and all of this. And I used to tell a bunch of jokes too, like that. Because they are funny in their way, but they also perpetuate stereotypes and can be very unkind at times. So I can remember being in groups where they would tell those jokes, and I sometimes I just wouldn't laugh at all, and they'd be like, "Oh, come on, Jennifer, that's funny," and I'd say, "Yeah, I understand you find it funny. I you know, I'm glad you're having a laugh, and it doesn't make me laugh. That's all. There's so many things that don't make me laugh. I can watch an entire episode of Saturday Night Live and not even smile a little. So, hey, it's just me and my sense of humor. But then there were other times when somebody would say something unkind about it, and I've done this many times in groups with women. I don't need to do it anymore at all, but it used to be maybe back in the 80s, 90s. Sometimes a woman would say in a group of other women, "Oh, men are so this or that," very disparaging of men. There are no good men anymore. I would hear that kind of comment. And I never let those comments pass, ever, ever. I just felt like I'm here to teach only love. I've got to say something. And so I would say, "Oh, wow, that's interesting. No good men anymore. Gosh, I know so many good men, so many. I'm like, where are you hanging out? Let's, like, whoa, what's happening there there are none, none." And then they would say, "Well, it's not that there's none." And I'm like, "Well, you just said there were none. And so learning how to, without more judgment, more complaint, more attack, how do you gently bring in a conversation that gives a person a, a clear pathway to a new perspective, a new point of view, an opportunity to change their mind?" So I have definitely learned as a spiritual counselor, the best way to help someone see more clearly and perhaps change their mind is really to invite them to just think about it. Just think about it. Because we all share the same mind. We are all given the same gifts by our Creator, same faculties. Yeah, some people have more artistic talent and some people have, better coordination, and some people are better at math, and some people can sing like an angel, and some people like Ted can write music, and those aren't talents that I particularly have. I have my talents, but we're still all sharing the same mind. And since there are no private thoughts, just bringing the thoughts to the surface and giving people a chance to really think, is that the thought I'd like to invest in, put my energy into? To me, it's an act of service to support people and just thinking a little bit more about what they're saying, what they're doing. And I sure appreciate when anyone does that for me. Helps me to see a bigger picture, helps me to think about it more clearly, helps me to see the dust bunnies under the bed that I'm not seeing, and to let go of my attachments, grievances, complaints. So, this teach only love, for that is what you are. I don't think that we actually can be happy if we're not doing that. And the best way to teach only love is to be loving. It's not with words. It's really not with words. It's just with, how do you approach people? It's such a challenging time. I started to notice, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years ago, that I might be out somewhere, store, at the beach, any kind of a place, and there would be some children there and adults around too, whatnot, their parents, their school people, whoever it is, in whatever kind of an environment. And I might see a child and they might have something they made that they're walking with or whatever. And I might say something like, wow, look at that. That's really cool. Did you make that? And they wouldn't look at me and they wouldn't acknowledge me. And the first time that happened, I thought, oh, maybe the child is deaf or something. And um, uh, but then I started to realize, oh no, these children have been trained not to talk to strangers, not to smile at strangers, not to look at strangers, not to engage with them in any way. And as the years have ticked by, I've seen more and more of that. And so the in myself, I notice when there is a child, I have a little bit of a hesitation about saying something to them because I don't want to challenge them or scare them. But also, I think on just an ego level, I don't want to be rejected by them. I don't, because it's a little bit of an owie. But I realized if I stop smiling at children, if I don't say nice things to children, then what is going to happen to their world, right? Isn't it going to really affect them? That I mean, I actually, my mind starts to go, I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about that. Of the long range ramifications of training your children not to look at strangers, not to talk with strangers, not to smile at strangers. Now, I don't know how my brother and his wife did it with their 4 children, but they feel safe engaging with strangers. As far as I've seen, when people talk to them, they're polite and nice and friendly. So there are all kinds of things in the world where there can be a temptation not to engage. And one of the things I see sometimes when I'm traveling is that there's a tendency for many people not to look at, let's say, the waiters, the porters, not to look them in the eye, not to engage with them, the maids in the hallway. They don't look at them and say good morning as they pass by. They just ignore them. And it's not my way anymore. I would say that I used to do things like that. And so I'm just finding that life is constantly presenting us opportunities to think more deeply about how we are operating in the world, teaching only love. And I think it's so important to thank people for what they do and to even small little things in the way we engage with people, to me, make a significant difference in life. That's me. Not saying anybody's doing it wrong if they're not doing what I do. But for me, these little things can mean a lot. So, for instance, just saying thank you and looking at somebody, thank you, where you are totally, you're on that person, you're looking at them, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your help with this. Thank you for taking the time to help me with this. Whereas, a lot of people just be like, thanks, and they're walking away. But I understand they feel vulnerable in the world, and so they're afraid to engage. But that's why for me, even though a lot of times, to be honest with you, back in the day when I lived in Los Angeles, I would intentionally, I'd go to the grocery store And I would literally, before I walked in the store, I would say, angels, help me find everything I need and only what I need, quickly, easily, and on sale. And I would also say, I'm putting on my Harry Potter cloaking device because I don't want to have conversations with people. I don't want to engage with people. I just want to be able to get in the store and get out of the store without any interactions unnecessarily. And that was because I did feel vulnerable, because I did feel insecure, and because I did have a sense of unworthiness, and I don't do that anymore. Um, Now I have my groceries delivered, so it's a non-issue. I mean, that's the literal truth. But even even if I was going into the store, I've just done the math. It's more economical for me to have things delivered. So when when I am out and about, I enjoy taking the extra time, even on the street with all the different kinds of things that just happen, walking a dog on the street and meeting up with people, and uh, wherever you go, encountering anybody in a store, any kind of situation, a restaurant, any kind of business, to be able to just look people in the eye and say, um, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Finding things like, wow, that's a great color on you, or wow, you found a good haircut, or um, that I so appreciate that you took the time to help me with that. And boy, that really made a difference for me. You're really great at what you do. Just being able to go a little extra mile with everyone we encounter. It's not I'm an introvert, believe it or not. So it's not I have to kind of make myself do it, but it feels very satisfying to do it. And to me, it's modeling, demonstrating, living A Course in Miracles, that you're my brother, you're my sister, I see you, I feel you, I'm connected with you, and I recognize you. I'm grateful for you being in my life, because I really think that in situations like with the ice, the men of ice, I've read that they sign a contract for 5 years. They get a $50,000 bonus, 10,000 in the beginning, and then 10,000 each year. And if they decide to leave ICE, they have to give their bonuses back. And I think a lot of the men who are I know based on reports that a lot of these men are illiterate. They can't read very well. They can't pass a written test. They can't pass physical tests a lot of the time. And I don't think their self-esteem is super high. I think they also are very good at violent video games, where if you don't like what's happening, you just shoot your way out of it in a video game. Everybody dies, doesn't matter. And so I think that yelling at them, calling them names, berating them, belittling them, not a good idea. Not a good idea, not helpful. And so we have to develop the courage and strength everywhere we go in life to teach only love. And to me, it's not just saying thank you, I appreciate you, appreciate your taking the time. When I get a telemark, or when I'm calling the bank, let's say, and they like, can I put you on infinite hold and come back sometime in the next decade? Uh, I I've learned to say, even if I'm in a hurry, I say, take your time. Take your time. So that they don't feel, they can get a little less pressure because I know they've got a clock ticking and they're measured, their bonuses, probably their worth is measured in how quickly can they assist and things like that. They're under enough pressure, and I don't want to add to that. I also, one of the ways that I like to just be a little more connected is when somebody says thanks to me, to really look at them and say, "You are very welcome. It's my pleasure," rather than just, "You're welcome." Really, "You are very welcome. It's my pleasure. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you came. I'm glad," just that extra mile, being able to find that extra mile. What can I say to this particular person that will put them more at ease and help them feel more loved, appreciated, and seen? Because I am here to represent the one who sent me. That's the only reason I'm here. So I'm not here for any other thing. I take that, I don't want to use the word seriously, but it feels like an honor. It feels like an opportunity. It feels like a challenge, and I'd like to rise to it and see what I can discover of how I can do that better. I like that about this life. I do. And I like it when I can find new little ways to do it better, to represent the one who sent me even better, more effectively, more lovingly, more joyfully. And it's a difference between thank you and thanks. You're welcome versus just welcome. You're welcome. You are welcome. You, the person I'm with, are welcome. And another little tiny thing is, and I talk about it from time to time, is in my text messaging with people, I have never used that function where you press on it and then you can like it or put a happy face or on somebody else's message, a ha, where you just, it shows up a little emoji in the top corner. I don't do that. I don't use that function. I respond with a full response. And sometimes my full response is just a single emoji, but I put it as a text message, not as a whatever those things are called, reaction. I don't use reactions. Just for the reason that it feels less personal, less of a conversation. Feels more of a conversation to write words or to put some emojis in there. That's me. I'm not saying anybody else is doing it wrong or I'm doing it better. That's me. I think about these things. And we have a rule. I've talked about this in Sundays with Spirit probably a few times. We have a rule that I made in the Power of Love Ministry in our communication amongst the staff, that it's not acceptable to have a reply to someone's message be okay, the word okay, or the two letters okay. That's not acceptable. You could say okay and then have a heart emoji, or something like that. You can have okay with an exclamation point and a thumbs up. You can, but if it's just okay, it's not okay. Because to me, just okay, I don't know what that means. Does that mean if I say, I'd really like it if we could send this out on Thursday, and somebody says, okay, I don't know what that means. It's okay that I would like that? Does that mean you're going to help me do that? Does it mean you will do it? I don't know what okay means. Like, I have this idea. Okay. Yeah. Uh, uh, can we please do this for everybody? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Okay. Yeah. I just don't know what okay means. So I don't use okay. And one of my best friends, I told her that story, about 4 years ago. And I would say once a week, she responds to me with, okay. So God has a sense of humor through my friend. And I just smile when I see that. I'm like, okay. So what I've noticed in my family text groups is I stopped saying okay. I mean, I didn't start saying, I don't think I ever really said okay very much. And everybody seems to have stopped saying okay. I don't know. I never said anything, I don't think, to anybody in my family, but I noticed we don't say okay to each other, which is nice. There's more of a connection, and that's good. So we're walking around in a world where the biggest issue in the world, like I said in the message I read from Facebook, is the negative self-talk. That is the number one problem on this planet. Negative self-talk. Number one. There's not even a close second. But if there were a close, but the second thing would be negative talk projected, self-talk projected onto others. So how do we interrupt that? How do we make a difference? And I think we just each do our part, living in the moment and being committed to teach only love to the best of our ability. And when we're not loving, we take ownership of it, we take responsibility for it, and we do it publicly. I think we do it publicly. Um, I learned that years ago, that if I was snarky with someone, to go back to them, even in front of other people, and say, hey, I was snarky there, and you didn't deserve that. It had nothing to do with you. I'm sorry. I took it out on you. That was not very kind of me. I lost my mind for a minute, and I got it back, and I apologize. And that's how I learned to, and you know what? That builds self-esteem. That builds self-esteem. Being able to own your stuff builds self-esteem. Because you know why? When you can own your stuff in front of other people like that, you are saying to them and to yourself, it's just a blip. It's not my whole story. I'm not a failure. I'm having a human experience. And having a human experience is what's going on in this world. It's not a crime. It's not a sin. Nobody needs to be punished. But we do need to take responsibility in order to keep healing and rising up. So on this full moon, taking responsibility for the world that we see, and rather than blaming others for the way the world is, recognizing I'm going to change my mind about this world. And instead of seeing the world as a problem, I'm going to see the world as my opportunity to teach only love. And that's what I'm interested in. So I'm in the perfect place at the perfect time with the perfect agenda. So I'm going to invite you to place your hands on your heart. Take this breath of love and gratitude. We're rising up above the battlefield. Every error we've ever made in the past, every mean or unkind or thoughtless or self-attacking thing we've ever done is not happening now. It's in the past. We're going to let it stay in the past. So I'm inviting you to think of situations and circumstances that challenge you on a regular basis. Maybe it's a certain person in a coffee shop, or maybe it's a certain person at work, or certain person in your family, certain situation. And to take ownership of being that fulcrum point of love in that situation, that we are willing to be loving. And while we may not know on the level of the personality how to love that person or to shift that energy, God does. And we are here to represent God. And therefore, it will be given to us if we are willing to represent. And what a joy it is that we can remember we're here only to be truly helpful, only to represent the one who sent us. It's not a heavy load. It's a light load because it's a joyful load. And it's what we chose. It's what we chose. And in the days of being truly helpful, our mind gets healed of any sense of lack and limitation. It's a wonderful way to accept the atonement for ourselves. So we're grateful for it, grateful for things as they are, knowing that we are blessed and the grace of God is amazing. And it is a gift that always goes with us. Always the grace of God is ours. So we're truly sharing the benefits with everyone. And we say, Amen, Amen, Amen. I'm going to pass this torch to Ted and invite him to play a song while we also just turn within and contemplate this. Thank you, Ted.
Oh Lord, dear Lord, please care for me. The spirit is willing, the body's so weak. Lord, sweet Lord, please care for me. Life's walk is lonesome, please care for me. I lay alone at night in a room with no lights, and in the stillness I pray for your love and care. Come walk beside me in life, shroud the darkness of this night. I feel a need, please care for me. Lord, dear Lord, please care for me. The spirit, it's willing, the body so weak. Lord, sweet Lord, please care for me. Life's walk is so lonesome, please care for me. Now I take pride in my life, I strive for what's right, and I accept every day, Lord, your will for me. I choose a path that I might walk in your light. With truth in my sight, grant me wisdom in life. Lord, dear Lord, please care for me, a spirit so willing, a body so weak. Lord, sweet Lord, please care for me. Life's walk is lonesome. Please care for me. There's a great story that goes with that song.
Tell us the story.
Oh, I had a small recycling business during the time my wife that was dying from cancer, and so I just had a small business, and I used a lot of college students. And one day, a gentleman walked in, and obviously, just by his looks, I could tell he's, not from around here. And in the look in his eye, he wouldn't even give me real good eye contact. And he said he's in the U.S. by himself. He was trying to get here, get a job, so he could bring his little family, get his family moved here. And he said, I can't start work. He says, I don't have a green card. And back in the 80s, there was this card that you had to go and document that you were immigrating and that you had a job, and it was like $400 to get this card. It's like crazy. And I didn't even hesitate, and it's not like I had the money. And I gave him that $400. He went and got that card, and he was the best, one of my best employees. And he worked overtime as much as he'd work 7 days a week if I'd let him. And he pinched. He didn't live in a cardboard box, but he wasn't living pretty, let me put it that way. But he just blossomed as a person, and that was such a gift to me. I mean, he always said, "You're my gift, Mr. Ted," and but he was a gift to me because there he was, no tools, just a willing body to work that needed help to get off the ground. And I know he laid it, and he just told me how much he missed his family, and I really wrote that song for him. Good man, a prideful man. So that's the story behind it. And I went back through the list. I've never sang this at Sundays with Spirit. You're hearing it for the first time. So there you go. Well, thanks for letting me share that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. Yeah, wonderful. Yes, so wonderful when we can offer support to a person like that. It's wonderful. Well, we are going to go into a breakout. It's not a long breakout. And what I'm inviting you to do is to just share what's meaningful to you right now about what I have shared, and whatever you're taking away. In the breakout, you do not have to share. You can just listen. Sometimes that's the best thing. I know many times I just like to listen and take it all in, and that's perfectly acceptable in a breakout. So short breakout, and then we'll come back. We'll have another music and some prayer. And so here we go. Right. So let me just change my view. There we go. Oh, that was interesting. Okay. Let me do this. There we go. Okay. So, Ted, anything that you are taking from what I shared? I shared a lot today.
Yeah. Something came to mind um, when you were talking about the ICE agents and that, that $10,000 bonus to sign up and 10,000 a year. And if you leave, you got to pay it back. That's what made me think about the gentleman I was telling you about. Uh, and it also brought to mind um, the response, like you said, that is what they learn. That is how they respond. And I was at a school carnival fundraiser
Mm,
in a group of, I don't want to call it a gang, but that they were. Um, and they were coming in, they were loud and they were not very nice going through the crowds and everything like that. And the carnival people um, could tell that it was making it uncomfortable, because these were school. This was, we're talking about kids in, fourth grade, you know, and one of the carnival guys, I don't know what he said to one of the members, and I mean this guy was on him, and then this was not two young guys, with having an ego dispute.
right.
It was a young guy just wailing on an older guy. My two kids were safe with my wife. I got the spirit just moved me, and I just walked up with my hands, just like, whoa, 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 enough, 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 whoa, whoa, you know, and I got kicked in the head from behind
What?
by another gang member
Wow.
and knocked me out. Um, and the gang scattered after that. Um, so, I had to go, go to the hospital, get checked out. Um, but I never, two things happened there. One was my response. I I could not stop. I had to stop it, no matter what. Um, and when when I woke up and people were talking, they said, "Well, you sure know how to break up a fight," because it did cause them to all, run away.
Right.
Um, but I think that's the same thing like you were talking about with the ICE agents. I mean, these are kids that are young guys that are used to being physical anyhow. I mean, they probably if you asked them how many brawls they've been in, they've been in, more than a handful.
Right.
Uh, and they're doing it for the money, but it also gives them a chance to be that way and feel that they're using that as a benefit to
Right.
them,
Right.
to improve their life condition. Um, so those are you know, that's what came to mind when you mentioned that. Um, it's hard. It's hard to not condemn them. I mean, condemn's a hard word, bad word. Uh, but in
Well, we,
spite of that, you, when they are sometimes just so blatantly like
yeah,
Pretty, that's
cruel.
just, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, yeah. I've really learned, um, and I know you know this. I've really learned things like the person isn't an a-hole, they act like one. The person isn't an idiot, they act like one. The person isn't um, reprehensible, their actions are. We don't condemn the being, we can, but we condemn those actions. We say that those actions are not acceptable, they're not appreciated, they're not um, what we would like, but not to attack the person because it just doesn't help. It just is pouring gasoline on the fire. Whenever you attack someone who doesn't feel good about themselves, it justifies their position and it just fuels their hatred and anger every time.
mhm,
It sure does. I mean, it did for me when I was younger and people would condemn me for my actions. It would just fuel my self-hatred and my projection of it outwards. So, yeah, some years ago, I forget exactly. Oh, I guess it was when, remember when there was the massacre in the nightclub in Orlando, right?
yeah,
Um, and there was a group, Broadway did a musical recording of the song "What the World Needs Now Is Love, Sweet Love." And somebody sent me that the other day, and if you weren't here, Ted, I was going to play the YouTube of that. Um, and it's true. Love is the only thing that really will diffuse. And I can imagine when you walked up to those men fighting, that you just out of the goodness of your heart wanted to help them to not hurt each other. Yeah.
yeah.
And that's a loving act, to put yourself in harm's way like that.
It worked, but not the way I planned.
Yeah, for sure. Did you have any lasting repercussions or concussion?
Um, Nothing like you have to ask my wife. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, that's yeah, that was an episode, to say the least.
mm. Yep.
Yeah,
Takes courage.
it does. They're
Yeah.
coming back. Oh, here they come.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm going to pick a song, and
Okay.
you can
All right.
welcome them back. And
Yeah. Here they come. Hey, Brenda. All right. So, how was the breakout? Is that helpful? You get to talk and share. I think it's so important that people get to express. I learned so much through expressing myself. That's why I do it so much, is because I'm such a curious person. And a lot of things I don't contemplate until I'm in a conversation with somebody. Even with my podcast, I feel like I'm in a conversation. Um, and I find that helpful. So, all right. So, what's going to happen right now? I'm going to make some quick announcements. Ted's going to give another song, and then I'm going to say a prayer, and we're on our way. And I'm going to take Bodhi for a long walk. The wind is a little less, and it's a little bit warmer than it's been all day. So, announcements. I am very intent in this climate that we have going on in the world to do lots of forgiveness workshops. So I am doing one this Friday for the very first time. I'm doing it at 5 p.m. on a Friday evening. So I know that's really going to be too late for the people in Europe, and I apologize for that. But I can't do everything for everybody, trying to spread it out. But I am on Sunday doing one at 10 a.m. Eastern. So that will be 3 p.m. For those in the UK, let's say. And so there you go. Get that one. Will be a little less convenient, maybe, for people on the West Coast. So that's how I'm doing it. 2 forgiveness workshops this weekend. And then the following weekend on Valentine's Day, I'm doing a workshop entitled Healing with Self-Love. Healing with Self-Love. So really looking at things this year with a focus on love, a focus on healing, a focus on joy. And so those are the things that are coming up. And also, I'll just mention that your donations make it possible for us to do all the free Sundays with Spirit, the daily blog, the podcasts, all the different things that we're doing, because for sure, without donations, we could not afford to do all of these things. So thank you very much for your donations. And you know what else really, really helps us is when you like and comment on any social media posts that you see that we have. So please, please do that if you see our social media posts. Okay, Ted, I'm turning it over.
thanks, Jennifer. Yeah, touches on the basic. It's an act of love or a call for love. That's all it's about. And so I'm just gonna give you this one. On a riverbank I watch waters roll by that can wash away tears of mine. On shore the burden seems so much more, and love is all a river's asking for. No matter how hard I try, no matter how great my stride, drowning in a sea of grief as love's river sings to me. Let love's river carry you, wash your tears away. Let love's river carry you. Forgiveness is the way. So I set my anchor on the shore with my long chain of pride. Fell to my knees, forgiveness washed over me, felt love's spirit come alive. Peace and tranquility replaced the sea of grief. Now I wade in waters of grace as love's river sings to me. Let love's river carry you, wash your tears away. Let love's river carry you, forgiveness is the way. Let love's river carry you, let it wash your tears away. Let love's river carry you, forgiveness is the way.
Thank you so much, Ted. Yes, it does hearts going.
Thank you.
Come on, there they go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Ted. Thanks everybody for joining us today. I'm going to say a prayer here. We're truly grateful and thankful that we get to represent the one who sent us. So grateful that our purpose in this life is so clear: to love and be loved, to remember the truth, to be truly helpful. So grateful that we don't have to wonder or worry about what to say or what to do, because the one who sent us directs us every day, every day. So we're grateful to live in the let go, live in the surrender, and to rise up above the battlefield through a practice of love and gratitude, love and gratitude. So grateful that despite everything we see in the world, we're still bringing the darkness to the light. The healing is happening, and our success on a spiritual level is guaranteed. So we are grateful to give love our all. We share the benefits with everyone everywhere because we are eternally one. In gratitude, we allow it to unfold with ease and with grace. We let it be, and so it is. Amen. 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 Bless you. Mwah. Thank you so much. Bye for now.